Instagram. And it's funny how everything has its own kind of vibe.
Indeed.
And there is Sharif. I am seeing Sharif. Good
Yes.
morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're doing fantastic. We're trying to hook up. Oh, here we are. This is Instagram?
Instagram. All right, one second. You will be live now. All right.
Okay, I have TikTok here and Facebook, and there's something here. Diana is helping me with everything. Anyway, good morning, Sharif. How are you doing today? Tell me, how is this day?
I'm great. Good morning. Today's a great day. Today is launch day. So I'm extraordinarily excited for you. I know how hard it is you've worked, and we can't wait to kick this off and bring this to life.
Awesome. And so we're going to start a little bit. I just want to kind of tell you, the audience, first of all, thank you for joining. You who are here, and the team from CineBlock, Bell Films. She's in Spain right now. But I want to talk about today, July 23rd, 2026. So July 23rd is an important day for me because not only does the film start on July 23rd, 2026, it's the first thing you see. No, not 2026, 2014 in the film, but it is my mom's birthday. And I want to make this real. So I brought my photo of my mom and dad here. I don't know if you can see it. Can we see it? Yes.
We can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. So that's my mom. And it's her birthday today in heaven. They're both in heaven. And yesterday was her anniversary. I feel like she's like one of those presences guarding and guiding us in this process. However tough she was one of those very tough disciplinarian women, but also very loving. So in a way, the movie is dedicated to her. And so let's start the conversation.
Wait. Happy birthday, Mama Toledo.
Sí, Doña Sonia.
We're not going to skip that part.
To ever knew her, because the thing about it is that, as creators, we are inspired by our parents, and our parents are, I always say that we chose our souls to be born in this world. And I was born a Latina woman with a lot of drive. And my mother helped kind of say, go to good school. So go to Swarthmore, which is what Sharif and I have in common. We are both Swarthmore alumni. And tell a little bit about Swarthmore to the people that don't know.
Yeah, to people that don't know, Swarthmore College is a liberal arts college outside of Philadelphia. It's very rigorous. It's very intense. But there you will meet some very, very, very intelligent people who are fundamentally interested in impacting the world. It's unlike a lot of other places I've ever been in my life. And let me say impacting the world generally in a positive fashion.
In a positive
caveat.
And so, what I met to Prince, which is one of the owners or members or creators of CineBlock, like a year ago. And then we started conversation, and that's how we did it.
Yeah. So we're all Swarthmore College graduates. So this is a very Swarthmore initiated sort of project. And it's funny how even though we're all years removed from graduation, it's still something that brings us together, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about making a positive impact, which is what we're all trying to do.
Exactly. And so let's talk about Blind Hope, because it's the film that we're going to talk about today. And we're going to, and shortly we're going to show the trailer of the film that we have right now for our equity campaign. So Blind Hope, I started it 10 years ago in 2016. And it was a time when I thought I was going to die. I sold everything that I had and I went to live by the beach. And I thought, sometimes those thoughts come to your head that you're going to die. So when I was over there in Marina del Rey in front of the ocean, it's where the ocean whispered the story to me. And I said, okay. And so I wrote it down. But, like any good film project, and you hear about it, it's like, well, I wrote a script. How come it cannot be made into a film right now? It's like it has a genesis. It has a metamorphosis. It takes time. And so this has been a 10-year journey. And so here we are today when I think that the script is at a level where it's ready to be made. I think the film is about being seen. And, we have two characters that meet in a summer of love, in a weekend of love in Puerto Rico. And I'm going to talk about Puerto Rico in it shortly. Originally, I said it in Sonora. And then we changed it to Puerto Rico. I am Puerto Rican. They have this amazing weekend together. And then something happens and they separate for 10 years. And then something happens to the male character and then they come back. The female character is a singer. She's a singer. She's a beautiful singer. That's her path in life. And the male character is a football player, a soccer player. Now that we have just finished the World Cup, it just seems so timely to see this aspirational character on the screen that we haven't seen, a Mexican aspirational character. I have him as a Chivas football player, soccer player, which is one of the most important teams in Mexican football. And so, but he also has his journey as a full-fledged character, and she has her journeys. It's a dual storyline. But at the end of the day, it's about love. It's about hope. It's about what happens when we take off all our masks. What is left? Can we be loved when we are not famous and bawling and famous actor, famous singer, famous football player? Can we be loved when everything is taken away? What do you think of that, Sharif?
First off, that's incredible, right? I think love is one of those universal themes that we can almost all relate to, right? Because what it speaks to is the layer of vulnerability that we have to have when we're ultimately in love. And it really hits a question of when, just like you said, when we're in our most vulnerable places, what does that mean to be loved by someone, right? There's trust, there's empathy, there's caring, there's all these things that it's almost like a cake with all these layers to it, right? And it's about unraveling the layers. And that's what great films ultimately do, in my opinion. They give you that layered cake about a story, right? That has this definitive beginning, middle, and end. And while you sit and watch it or read it, if it's just a script, you're going through these different layers, right? And that's what any great story does. And that's what Blind Hope is going to do.
And I think that, one of the people is like, oh, well, why a romantic musical? Because listen, I didn't want to write music. I didn't want to be in that world. But what happens is that these emotions were so big that these people feel in this script that the only way to explain them or to express them was through music, and is it a musical in the American way? I don't see it that way. I feel like you have to see the film, but basically the music expresses deeper emotions that words cannot. Because, when you're writing a film, writing those deep emotions can be melodramatic and bad writing, but you can get away with a lot with the power of song. And that's the magic of Blind Hope, that not only does it have football, it has romance, it has love, it has music. And also we have some very colorful characters like Vince and Marco that are the Greek chorus that bring the funnies out, that are her chosen family. They're her best friends. And that is important in our ecosystem, that we just, embrace everybody in our community, not just some people, but everything. Because again, the film is about being seen.
Absolutely. Now, Charo, I have a question for you.
Yes.
In terms of the musical selection, what was sort of the inspiration that you had behind picking certain musical compositions or songs?
That's an interesting question. Originally when I wrote the film, I had put as placeholder Janis Joplin songs. And I was like, oh my God, this film would be so expensive with just Janis Joplin songs, like Cry, Cry Baby and all of those. But I feel that everybody has its own these are scratch tracks. When we go into production of the film, my idea is to have a fabulous musical director. I'm in conversations with some, and to do a fusion of East and West. This movie is Mexican and Puerto Rican, so it's East and West. So I would love to do some trap in the Mexican ballads and some of that, and then do some romantic ballads with Puerto Rican kind of instruments and music. And so that's what's so exciting right now, that each song has a little bit of a different style. Esperanza, the main character, of course, sings a lot of ballads because that's pop
Who she
ballads.
is?
Yes, I mean that's how she expresses herself. The first time they meet, there's a bit of a kind of rap kind of thing when they are batting, kind of getting before they kiss. And then his songs, I see them more kind of country style, Mexican country, a fusion between Mexican country music and American country music. I know it sounds crazy, but it is a music. It's a movie in English. It is for a general market. It's Spanglish. I mean, we have characters that only speak Spanish, and that's another thing that is different about this movie, that we are combining languages. Different generations in our Latino experience, our mothers talk, they speak to us in Spanish, and we sometimes respond in English because that is what's happening with the generations, right? And so that is also a unique feature, that it has its own language. So the music is very particular to what the character is feeling, and their style and their ethnicity, and the language that the characters speak as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you now this question. Why did you think it was important to have that element of Spanglish, or at least dual lingo, within the film?
Because for me, that's the reality of Latinos in Los Angeles. I mean, in the U.S., Hispanic reality. And not only here, I think that, I have friends in Mexico that they go back and forth as well. And so, and not only Latinos, I think people from other cultures that come here and that are, first gen, you mix and match, you know what I mean? And that's just, for a long time, it was considered bad Spanish or bad English. And it's like, no, what if it's its own language, And that is what is most authentic. We go back into the authenticity of the film, and language is authentic. So
now let me ask you this question. In a lot of Latin-based films that are produced here in the United States, you don't really see that, right?
No, I think that, and that's the thing that about why go the independent route, right? And so I want to just say that it's changing a little bit when you watch international productions, right? That you go to Netflix or Amazon, and then they'll have subtitles. I think now we are more open to subtitles than we were back in the day. But the importance of the authenticity of the language, it's like, when they say, when you lose your language, you lose your identity, right? So our language is a combination of both, because that's our identity. That is, us trying to preserve our Latino heritage in the United States with a different language. So sometimes if you don't have people that are in the higher levels of studio network executives that understand that subtlety, they will try to make it one language or another. And that's not how we are living right now in 2026. So,
right.
So let's move a little bit about the idea of CineBlock, and how did you guys come up with the idea of CineBlock, and what exactly is it?
Yeah, great question. So CineBlock is an equity crowdfunding and marketing platform that allows a filmmaker such as yourself to offer investment up to both accredited people worth $1 million or more, or non-accredited retail investors, and give them the opportunity to invest in a project. So I want people to take a step back and think about a platform like Kickstarter or GoFundMe that a lot of creatives have used to help fund their projects. Generally, the end result of that is, if a campaign is successful, is that someone who donated may get a t-shirt or a coffee mug or something like that. So as we sat back and decided how it is we wanted to move in a different direction, right, and create something, once again, positive for the community, we decided to make it an investment-based vehicle, right? Because people were already comfortable with the idea of giving money towards film. They just never actually have been given the opportunity to invest. So now we've allowed it so that a filmmaker or someone looking to raise funds has a much larger pool of people to ask for investment, right?
Right.
And then just an additional backstory to this, myself, my co-founders, Julian Hafner and Prince Ace, we all attempted to break into the entertainment industry in our own sort of ways, right? Myself as a writer, as an actor, etc. Prince as a producer, Julian on the legal side, and we didn't have the greatest success. So we realized we needed to come together as a unit to build something positive and something that was really game changing. And this now was our opportunity, because the technology had now made it so much easier to now leverage the entire community. And it really gives filmmakers such as yourself the opportunity to say, look, I want to go the independent route now. I don't want Hollywood to change the type of film it is that I want to make. I want to speak Spanglish in my movie.
Right.
Now I can go and do that because I have a community of Spanglish speaking people already who understand this nuance and can raise funds from them via this avenue. And instead of just getting maybe a t-shirt or a coffee mug, they'll have actual ownership in this project, right? And that's a very different, not only financial reality, it's a very different feeling, right? To say, I helped create Blind Hope, right? I helped make this film possible, and I own a small piece of it, right? That matters to me. Helping people in my community, helping projects that I want to see made, that matters to me. And that was really what the idea behind CineBlock was, and how it is we execute.
I think that is incredible, because can you talk a little bit about how usually films are funded?
Sure. So for the general public who doesn't know, a filmmaker needs, say, $2-3 million to make an independent film. They'll go then they'll pitch their idea to a number of accredited investors, or to one big accredited investor, in hopes that one accredited investor writes a large check, $500,000, $1 million, so that the film can be made, right? Here's the problem. There's very few individuals with a net worth of $1 million or more who fall into the accredited investor category. So already the pool is small. And then there's only a percentage of those people who even fall into this category who then historically have invested in films, right? So it makes the available pool. So the pool of available investors prior to CineBlock was very, very small, very, very limited. And it made getting funding for these independent films more difficult. Then factor in how Hollywood has shifted over the past 20 years. And a lot of the IP that they're looking for is already in existence, meaning there were already books, or in a lot of instances, comic books based upon existing characters, right? If we think back to what films looked like in the 80s or 90s, you saw a lot more originality, right? And it wasn't just movies where 7 or 8 movies could be made from, because it has this extensive catalog of IP already behind it. And so unfortunately, independent filmmakers have been left out in the dust, right? Because they may not have a Spider-Man catalog it is that they're pulling from, right? They don't have a Marvel behind them, etc. And so Hollywood has said, well, since we can't get 15 movies out of this one concept, we're not going to support you. Then factor in the low amount of accredited investors. Then factor in the the small percentage of accredited investors who had invested in movies. It made the environment really, really difficult, and continues to make the environment really, really difficult for original independent films.
Yes, I think that you're absolutely right. I think that, and I don't want to get into politics, but I've had, I'm in a part of a community that has mentioned that green lighting Latino projects has been very difficult lately. And I feel that we go back to, if we are 30% of the audience, why are we only 12% or less of the people on the screen?
Right.
And I think that the way to cut through that is to go independent, create a way of the audience participating in the film, and also, if because they have a stake on it, then market the film themselves. And correct, that's the idea behind it, so that then they will tell their comadres, their friends, their sorority sisters, whoever, to go see that film, because not only is it a great film, it is aspirational, has great representations of Latinos, but also they have a stake on it, right?
Absolutely. So marketing is a huge component of this, right? So think about it just as the everyday person. If you've now invested in Blind Hope, you're saying to yourself, man, I can't wait till this movie comes out. Oh my God. Now I'm going to tell people about it. I'm going to tell, just like you said, I'm going to tell my family, I'm going to tell my friends. I may go and make TikTok videos about it. I may make Instagram videos about it, telling the world about this new project that's out, right? Because I, as an investor, want to see a return on this. Simultaneously, what that does is it creates a groundswell. So the more views, the more likes for any of these posts, the more that people talk about it. Bigger studios, distribution networks, such as, you know, your Netflix, your Amazon Primes, they have to turn around and say, oh my gosh, like this movie's picking up steam. Look at all these people who are backing this, who are talking about it, who've made investments in this. Oh my God, it's already raised this amount of money. We now need to be a part of this, right? Because the community is commanding it, right? This is a groundswell that can't be stopped. So once again, part of our platform is to really disenfranchise these gatekeepers, right? And disrupt this system that has allowed only a small percentage of people in to be able to make it. And to go what you were talking about to Latino films, you make a very stellar point, right? With the amount of Latino actors and actresses that we have currently in the industry, why aren't there more Latino-centric films? You'll see films that are still European or Western-centric with a Latino character here and there just for a little bit of flair. But they don't get to tell their actual story. And that's what we're attempting to put an end to here at CineBlock with projects like Blind Hope.
And I think that one of the things that, you know, let's really talk about it, because we're going to talk about how it works. Okay.
We're live. Let's do it.
Because at the end of the day, let's be real. People give jobs to people they know. Period. Right?
Right.
So if there's a circle of people that get their job or their project, like last year, 90%, I think, of the television shows were white. I'm going to tell it. I'm just going to say it like it is. So those people are going to hire their friends that they know, and that's how it works. So then you go in with your script. Oh, please, Mr. It's like, it's a losing battle. Like, why are you going to try to go into a house that doesn't want you? You got to build your own.
Exactly.
So I think that is a big frustration point in as a Latino creator, that it's like, you can be, I mean, this movie got the excellent reviews from the Blacklist, which is an industry barometer. Okay. They call it the next Emilia Perez. They call it the Latino Wicked. And with that kind of script and coverage, I still don't have access.
No. And that's gatekeeping. And that's what we're trying to put an end to. The reality is that these people who are in these positions of power only want to go with what's familiar and what it is, you know, basically what it is they know. The only formula it is that they have. But continually, you see films sort of break that mold, right? The Jordan Peeles of the world, the Black Panthers of the world, the Ryan Coogler's, excuse me. You see the success of a film like Sinners, right? We have stories to tell, and our stories matter. And there's demand for it. The proof is in the pudding. The demand is for it. And if gatekeepers don't want to understand that, if they don't want to take the time to appreciate that, fine. We will build our own systems and our own infrastructure. and then they'll just be left out in the cold. And that's what we're doing here.
And I think that that's really important. And I mean, I'm not gonna. It's like I am in my. I'm operating like a studio. I'm doing the marketing. I'm dealing with it. CineBlock. All this thing with CineBlock. There has been a lot of legal paperwork with FINRA to file for regulation CF. Like there's a lot of legalities that go on. We have an escrow company that holds the funds. Let's talk a little bit about the transparency and the integrity of this process, please.
Yeah, sure. So Charo mentioned something that's using acronyms some people might not be familiar with. So that's FINRA. That's the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. They work in conjunction with the SEC for equity-based projects. So for everyone out there, understand that when you come onto the CineBlock platform, we are dealing in equity, in investments. So there is regulatory and compliance it is that we have to follow to minimize any type of fraudulent activities. So when Charo makes an offering out here to the world, understand it is legal. It is compliant. We have done our due diligence in preparation for this. This is not a game where no one is looking to rob people. There's a lot of work that goes into this on the back end that the outside community doesn't see. But that's the reality of having to go the independent route. We have to do more. But the reason we do more is for the benefit of everyone else, so that investors can feel comfortable knowing that we have followed and adhere to the most strict regulatory guidelines out there in the world, right? And so when we talk about, what equity crowdfunding means, understand a lot of it goes into that, right? There's a whole lot on the back end that people have to understand in order to make this whole process flow seamlessly, right? So I know Charo was doing a lot of work in order to get that done. Our team is doing a lot of work to ensure that this is legal, this is compliant, and that we're up to speed.
And then let's talk about how the funds work. The funds go to North Capital Escrow, right?
So in order to follow FINRA compliance, we, the platform that's managing this equity crowd fund, cannot hold the money. So a third party needs to hold that. So that third party, an escrow holder in North Capital, has to then be involved in the process. And so whenever someone makes an investment, that's who holds the money, right? We cannot. And that just another example of the legal compliance it is that we have to adhere to. So a third party holds that money. Us, CineBlock, does not, right?
And there was a whole process of even just being with North Capital, background checks, making sure that the people that are in BH Movie LLC, which is Annabelle Mullen Pacheco and I, my partner from Bell Films, we have not been doing fraud or whatever we're doing. Like we are clean, that we have a clean record.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the little engines that could are the people who make this possible, right? And the reality is that's part of the makeup of what it is we have to do in order to be compliant. So it's FINRA, it's filing paperwork with the SEC, it's escrow management, it's all these things that happen in the background prior to the campaign even launching that needs to happen to make investors feel safe and know that they are entering a platform that is compliant and is not committing fraud.
And I think that that's really important because we are trying to do something new. And like anything, it requires this kind of just resilience, a lot of work. We've been working on this for a while, and it's like, wow, we've been meeting every Friday for a while. We have been designing campaigns. It's been an incredible journey, but I want to just say to everybody, if you want to get something done, sometimes you got to just do it yourself.
Absolutely. And it means you may have to work a little harder, but the reward is that much greater.
Okay, so I want to, now that we're here, I want to show a little bit of the trailer. Diana, I'm here, with my beautiful Diana is going to show us the trailer. Is short, but just so you get a taste of what it is. Hold on a second. Go back. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And all right.
Here we go.
Why must you stray in this game of love? I've lost my way. With every breath I call your name, but our love burns in a flickering flame. Lucy once in my dreams, a shooting star, beautiful.
Okay, Diana.
Love it. Love the music too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that is our theme. It's called Blind Hope, and it's still playing on Instagram. Oh my god! We're here at technical stuff. So anyway, yeah, thank you so much. It is the theme song called Blind Hope, and what you saw are just to evoke emotion about this beautiful story that we're setting in Puerto Rico, my island, Puerto Rico. It's I was born and raised there. I came to Los Angeles, and I haven't been back since my dad died in 2014. So I'm bringing this back to my community with Bell Films, Annabelle Mullen, who is a genius and who has worked with beautiful crews in Puerto Rico. And it just feels right. The Mexican players are going to come to Puerto Rico for vacation, and that's where that magic happens. And one of the most exciting things, and I'm just going to start crying, is that we get to showcase the beauty of my island as Puerto Rico, not as another place, but as my island.
Authentically.
So any closing thoughts, Sharif, before we leave?
I mean, can't wait for this project, right? Can't wait. The campaign kicks off today. We are extraordinarily excited for it. People, please go and check it out. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. I know you've been working on this for 10 years.
Yes.
Right? So I know that means a lot to you, right? I think back to 2016 and where I was in the world at 2016 and how different things are for me now, right? And yeah, this is the start. This is a great day. So you should be very, very proud of all the work it is that you've put in and everyone on your team.
Thank you so much. And thank you to the CineBlock team. We're going to do more lives about this and more updates in all our social media. Please follow us on _Blind Hope or my personal one, Charo Toledo. We have a LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook, Charo Toledo. What are your handles, Sharif, so that we have them?
Sure. Follow us on Instagram at CineBlock Films. You can go to our website, www.cineblockfilms.com, and go from there. We'll be updating our social media with content about Blind Hope, and we can't wait for the community to get actively engaged in what should be a great project.
Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for watching. And we will be updating you on all things Blind Hope. And again, thank you for joining this train. Un abrazo. Mwah.
And stream.